All right. Anybody seen Andy? There he is. I did. Checkity check. Oh yeah, there it is. All right. Come on up front so that be seen. Are we online?
Yep, we're live.
Okay. Howdy, folks. Everybody that's on the interwebs with us and in the room here. Glad you have made it. It's ought to be a lot of fun. Now, we said we're going to put all the questions. We've got an app room in the app chat for the East App Church app. Why do we always talk about the chat room in the app? The reason is because whether you're in here on the patio or you are at home, then everybody's on equal footing. So something we started talking about, I don't know, it's probably February when we had something here and we were like, we're not going to put that online. And I thought, if we have a church of people who are, and we say people attend online and they can do that from anywhere, that means that any event we have should probably also be online so that everybody can be with us. So that's why we're always pushing the app chat. So, and Andy has the app chat, and is going to read some questions as we go. So if you have any questions, glad to have them. We'll go through this together, and it is a privilege of ours to go ahead and start this with a word of prayer. If you don't mind, we'll pray. Father God, we come to you and ask that you would continue to fill our conversations with your Spirit. May you bring us to understanding today and where you'd like us to go. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'd like to tell you a little story. This church started 100 years ago. Frankly, I haven't really wanted to say that in case somebody thought we should do a 100-year anniversary.
That's a great idea.
Shut up. This is why we're not passing a mic to Robert. So, 1921, I believe they started in 21. I don't know when the organization date is. I was trying to figure that out. But the first real building was the building that's still there in 13th and Broadway downtown. There's a Calvary Baptist Church or something like that in it right now, and it's pretty cool because they've been very heavily involved with a lot of cool things in Chico, like the safe space. That's where everybody met down there, and it was fun to go down in the basement. That I heard stories of them digging that basement out by hand because they needed some more space for the kids, and was fun to see it repurposed in that way. But yeah, the building's still there. I don't know who any of these people are. But the picture was taken in 1948. 1964, they bought this piece of property, and they bought it from the Wismans, who were next door. Their niece owns the house now, and so it was a 5-acre plot that was orchard, and they kept a half acre over there, and so we've got the 4.5 acres here. This is the church in front of the parsonage after it was completed in 1968. And then by 1974, 75, all of this was finished. And I can't do it here. If you look right here, they have Jesus in the picture. So we talked about this the other day, that originally here, there was a statue of Jesus out front in the circle planter who was reaching out to East Avenue. And every once in a while, I catch him in a picture. I love that. This is the Pace Setters. They were the Sunday school class. When I got here in 2002, the Pace Setters was what I called the super senior Sunday school class. So it wasn't, they were a bunch of our saints for sure. 1988, they took a photo. But you were in that one? Darren's in that one. It's like it's Herman Pittenger. You got Glenn and I don't know too many of these, but you. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's Danny and Diane right there in the middle.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at that. You're right in front of. Look at that. I love it. How about this one? This one's got all kinds of people that are still around as well. You got, what's this? Oh, I can't. Oh, look at that. Maybe I can draw on it. So let's see. Like Ron and Val. I drew right over Val's face. Sorry, Val. And are you guys in this one? Can you find yourself?
Yeah, so I was 96, I'd be wearing a hat at that time.
Oh, yeah.
On the left, in the very back.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oop, I just drew over your face, too. Yeah. Anyway, lots of nice folks in here. So, I think that's the last one I've got. But in 2002, before I got here, something happened. There was a pastor here for about 9 months, and he felt like it was his job to make sure that they changed the name of the church because obviously the church wasn't working because the name was too First Church of the Nazarene of Chico-y, I guess. Read a book in the 80s. There was a big movement that you got to take, got to make the church as general as possible, and so that's what people did. So Tater, sorry, my dog was perfectly happy in the office, so that's all right. He'll be all right. Tater, over here. Like, it's gonna be okay. Lay down. Lay down. Or come up here. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. All right. Called it the East Ave Community Church because we're on East Avenue, we're part of the community, and we're a church. I heard the story a lot because that was the sales pitch. And then we put a big up sign outside that said that this was a new church, grand opening of the East Ave Church. I don't even think they changed the font around here, but that's
Common sense.
yeah. They actually the graphics on the temporary sign might have been. Hello? Yeah. You can go home? I'm in the middle of the meeting you should be at. Okay. So, all right. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thanks. Okay. The good news is that Glenn has been discharged. So I thought that looked weird. But yeah, Glenn, After he's going to need a ride. His car is still here, but he collapsed after the second service out here, and
He collapsed twice.
It's an easy way to get rid of it.
well, he fell once, and he collapsed once. If you want to go grab him, that would be fine. Good job, Robert. Everybody, thank Robert for leaving. So I got here about 4 months after this. Some of you are going to remember that. All that I know is that a lot of people bled over the name change. It was brutally done, I think. Am I being fair about that?
I thought you did it.
I have been accused of this more than once. Trust me, I was like, this is the worst name ever. It describes the street you're on. That's like, So I would say people, yeah. Anyway, we said East Ave Community Church. Community church means something. It means that you are an independent church, at least in most places in the U.S. I don't really know if it...
Small letters underneath it said something like a division of the Church of the Nazarene. Something to the Church of the Nazarene.
I put that on there. I actually, yeah. Anyway, I don't... What Dennis did, all that I know is what he put on the vinyl sign that was out there. But he did say, "You can thank me later." So for all the good work he did. I don't mean to be brutal, but if he wasn't planning on being here longer than 9 months, then he could have left it alone. That would have been fine. Especially the grand opening part, because I still run into people all over town. They're like, "So that's in the building that the Nazarene Church used to be in, right?" No, that's still us. Don't tell anybody, but we still are Nazarene. In 2010, I dropped the community kind of quietly, just because it means something, and I didn't want to continue to lie to our community that we are not an independent church, and so because of that, we kept going. We have been. I think I put this one in the wrong place, So I've been thinking about what it might mean to change the name of the church for a long time, but it wasn't important enough to put a lot of energy behind it. But there's a few things that we've been doing that we've been doing intentionally, and if I could say, thanks to COVID, we have had some revelations, I would say, in the way that we've been able to try some new things, to do things that we would have never done before, like have church in the parking lot, or having a patio venue and all of the rest of it, including the video venue. This is not where it is being hosted now, but Sam has been outside ever since the rest of us came inside, and he's been out there to give people a place to be, whether it is because they are leery of COVID, or if they're sensitive, or maybe they just like being outside. I think they're outside people, just want to be outside. And so there have been people that have been meeting on the patio and and attending through the screen. We think that is something that can be really important for us to learn how to do that on purpose, and I'll tell you why in a second. Oh, I guess right here. And that is that in 2018, with the destruction of Paradise, it left the Nazarene church up there intact, and yet the folks of the church scattered. Now, that building still exists. It's still doing work through the Hope Center, and so it's still an active building, but we have the opportunity to walk in there and to try to do something new back in Paradise and bring the message of hope back there. But the last thing we wanted to do was to walk into Paradise, print up big signs that said, "Welcome to the East Ave Church of Paradise," because that sounds weird. There are some weird names that seem to stick that nobody thinks about, like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I'd really love to know what's behind that. But it doesn't seem to be slowing them down. The 5/4 spank, I don't really understand that one. Or 4/5 spank, 5/4 spank. Some weird ones. But I think we could probably do better than that as we look to move forward. We think we could put a video venue up in Paradise, and that it could be compelling. The nice thing is that it would be inexpensive. Anymore, if you want to plant a church, you get somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000 together and see if it might work. And that is a whole lot of money to try to plant a church these days. But that's kind of how it's done, and it might work and it might not. So we've got this chair back here, and I brought that in because Laura asked me to. Laura Salisbury, her and her husband Bob, who has already gone on before us, are the reason why there's still a church here. I truly believe it, because Laura stood in that lobby by herself for like 30 years and greeted everyone who came in and loved on them, learned their names. Bob and Laura took them out for dinner for the first-time guests, and they were the rock of this church for decades. When I got here in 2002, and that's all and until he passed away, he'd go, we haven't really been here that long. We've only been here since '73. Okay, Bob. Yeah, but Laura drives a walker around and has trouble getting up anymore these days, and she said it'd really be great if I had a seat that had arms on it so that I could push my way up. I don't want to have to rely on anybody, and she's an independent lady. We would do everything we can for her. And so I put that chair back there, and that's her chair. She comes in here. She gets here early enough at the 9 that nobody's going to sit in her seat. So she comes in and sits in that seat back there. It's up here about 3 months ago, and right after we put that chair in here, and we had a Saturday night where a bunch of ladies from the Johnson House were in, and somewhere in the first set, this little blonde lady, she gets up and moves and sits in the back, and I just thought, she sits in Laura's seat. And I thought, well, that's weird. I mean, why would this young lady move away from the other people and then just to sit in the back? And I thought that was weird, but after the service, I kind of made a beeline for her just to see if I could learn her name, and I got back there and I realized why she was sitting in that seat. She was charging her ankle monitor. And I thought, that is another great use for that seat. And I thought that it encompasses everything I think about for this church. It is, everybody is welcome here. And I love that part. No, that's not Dick's reason, but it's also a good reason. So, but I that's my image of what it means to be this church, is that everything we have is useful for a whole lot of people, and this place is not only useful for the people who want to come here on the weekends and sing some music together and learn about Jesus and get yelled at for a while by some bald-headed beard guy, and I think that part is great, but that's not the only reason why this church exists. The ladies' chorus that is here on Wednesday nights, love that. The food bank, the 4-H that uses the gym, the charter school that does basketball practice here. There are a lot of different groups, and throughout the years have been a lot of different groups that have been here. The 12-step groups and guide dogs for the blind, and all kinds of things. We want to be the kind of place that when somebody says, hey, we need a place to meet, where can we go meet? Well, we'll open the doors to you. That'd be great. And so when we started thinking about what does it mean to be a place that's welcoming for everybody, how do we say that this place is a place where everyone is not only welcome and loved, but they can find a seat at the table? And so when we started talking about what it meant to do a real rebrand, we weren't just thinking come up with another name for the church. We were thinking, how can we tell our community something about us and who we are and who we want to be for them? And I would like to, as we do this, also be able to correct the record and say, we've been here for 100 years. We've been on East Avenue for 60. And we are changing our name to reflect who we are. And not because we're running from the IRS. And so we had some parameters. Had to be something that people could understand. Had to be something that was instantly recognizable as a church. There's a John Crist video that we watched. He's a comedian that's a PK, which means he's pretty screwed up. But he did this game show with a couple of his buddies called Church or Weed Shop. And because you couldn't tell the difference between the names, because they all tend to, you think you know what you're looking at, and it turns out you don't. So we wanted all of that, and the URL had to be there. We had to be able to get a good website address. That's important for the next 100 years. I mean, at some point, that may be different, but it seemed like a really important thing to do. So So when we think about the word commons, we say it is a resource that benefits the whole of a community. And so I think that's who we are. That's not the building. That's the attitude of the people that go to church here. And I'm pretty honored. I mean, the people I get to go to church with are some of the best people I know. And I am grateful for all of you and the people who aren't here, except for Robert. No, I just, this is a unique place, and if you've been here too long and don't know that, you need to know that. You walk into this place, and it's different, and I love it. I love it. I usually tell people, I say, how long have you been here? I said, well, I'm in my 20th year. And I go, that tells you I can't get another job. But I mean, I never make promises about anything. But I mean, all the problems here are mine. Who wants everybody else's problems? So, love all of that. Love all of that. So, when we talk about the things that COVID helped us with, we love Saturday worship so much, we're back outside now, under the lights, and it was good. Even though, Dick, you skipped this last week. I did notice that. Oh, that's right. I knew it was something. You told me you weren't going to be there, and I couldn't remember why. But we think that being outside is not going away. We don't think that all of a sudden that one day we're going to wake up and Uncle Joe's going to tell us that we can all go back to life the way it used to be, right? We just think this is new, and at some level it's always going to be with us. And people are always going to be more comfortable outside. Besides, we think being outside is pretty nice. So we like all of that. And Mike, I'm going to throw you into the bus. So this is my friend Mike. He's attended here on and off since the 90s, early 90s. Yeah. And Mike's been trying to talk me into doing something dastardly to the building for some time. And that's because he doesn't think like normal people, which means that you fit in well here. But calls himself an urbanist, and helps to take whether it's a restaurant or a storefront and try to face it to the community in a way that it makes sense in the community. So he's like, you got to put a coffee shop up front. I thought he meant in the parking lot. He meant in the lobby. So, and I'm like, well, I don't know, that doesn't sound like a thing we could do. But I think he's worn me down. And I love it because, and he said to me the other day, he goes, the front of your church is really mediocre. And I was like, hey, we think we're up to mediocre. We're pretty proud of how far we've come. It has been a lot of work. And he goes, it has negative gravity. I said, okay, because it's pushing people away. And I was like, okay. And we started talking about, that the place looks abandoned except for a couple hours on Sunday because all the stuff that happens all happens in the back. This place could be full But unless there are cars parked out front, it looks pretty abandoned. And we think, and then I stood out front and I thought, you know what? Mike is so correct, because you look at the front, it looks like there are no doors in this place. And you can't, it's hard to see the windows. It looks like a fortress, like we're trying to keep people out. And I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to get this. And so the idea of Hope Commons Church and creating a space that we can, that can commonly benefit our community, we started thinking, what would that really look like? Well, let's take a look. Now, these are ideas. These are not plans. If that makes sense. So anything can change or everything can change. But the idea is that that we can play around with this. This is actually a 3D model that that we're definitely still working on. But the yeah, let's see if I can get over here. Do I know what I'm doing? There it goes. Okay. So the idea is that, say, on a Sunday, we can put that we take the planter out front, turn that into a platform that on Sunday we can have people in here and we can have people up front outside. You can have say the announcements outside on a video camera that shows up in here. You can have the message in here that shows up out there, and and so instead of having some people planted in back where you can't see it, we have people out front that that are very visible to our neighbors. There are, what do you say, 20,000 cars? 19,000 cars a day? Drive up and down East Avenue. And the vast majority of that time, Keith's the only one out there, making it look like something happens here, out in his food truck, and trying to kill me with too many really amazing meats. So, but what would life be like if we had some space out here where folks could gather? It could be a place where we gather before the service. Could happen out front, and it's a place that can be organized in several different ways. But see if I can do this. Probably my favorite part of this. Totally know what I'm doing. There we go. So these two walls back here that face the parking lot, taking those and putting in the garage doors, the glass garage doors, so that you can lift those up, and then there's worship space from the middle of the parking lot all the way up through here. And you might say, dude, we live in Chico. It gets to be 110 degrees. It does at like 3 p.m., but how many days a year at 9 a.m. is it super nice around here? And we could create a space. The great news about those is that when the weather is not good, they're down, but then it looks accessible and people can see in and see what happens on the inside. I mean, right now the lobby is always in the middle of summer is super dark, and we could use some good light there anyway. But I love that. And then let's see. I hope nobody gets motion sick on this. Let's see. So have some room covered, but the idea is that I've been driving this on the iPad. Is that during the week we can make room out front for some more food trucks and create some space and bring people to campus all week and create a place where kids could come and play and parents could sit and eat and that this becomes a stopping place for our neighbors. And if you want to drive in, that's great. But for all the people around here, it creates a walkable space for people to come and get some dinner or just hang out at the park and make it usable and a way for us to be able to tell our neighbors, you're actually welcome here. This is a good place to be. And one of the other things, Mike, that you have said that has really changed the way that I think about all of this too is that there is a benefit even for us doing some beautification and making this place look attractive, that it adds to our entire community, even for people who are just driving down the street, that we bring value to our community through looking like we belong here, and that looking like they belong here, and you say it a lot better than I do, so we'll give you a mic maybe. I don't know, but I love all of this. So Mike and his buddy Ruben have been helping to put all this stuff together so that we can really check this out and take a look. But the idea is that we scooch out the little grass area up here. We're going to extend that about 18 feet and just shift the entire parking lot back. Right now, that landscape strip on East Avenue is 20 feet wide. And it only needs to be 6, and I think this is 8. And so we just kind of gently, we're all going to push the parking lot. We'll get a team together, get some rollers, just push it back and extend the space. But the idea is that there's always seating out front. And so as we do this, and then also creating space for our community to use as an outdoor venue, and being able to say, let's go get 4 cover bands a year to come out and play, and get a bunch of food trucks and just throw a party for our community, or the PV Jazz Band, or the junior high Glee Club, or their drama kids. Yes, sir.
Can I perform?
No. Sorry, Sam. It's not
Not that kind of thing.
not that kind of. I mean, we're pretty user friendly, but we don't put anybody on a mic. That's just so.
Keep trying, church.
There you go. The idea of being able to maybe bring back open mic night for a community. We used to have that once a week, but what if that happened here? How many ways can our church have an outward-facing attitude towards our neighbors and be able to love on a community in a way that we just haven't had the opportunity before? So, all right, I've got I do have some printouts. Rudy, you want to check the copier? I didn't grab them from there. Yeah, here.
What you see there is like a weekday layout, but on a Sunday, those food trucks may not be there, and it would just be all open. And we didn't show that in the model, but generally on a Sunday morning, I don't think the food trucks would be there, and you'd see the whole front of the church to the street. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up because the food trucks kind of block it a little bit. So
They do, but I also like the idea of coming out of the 11 a.m. service and being able to eat lunch on campus.
I like that too. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I dig that. So I don't know how that works, but definitely something to play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes.
I wonder with all the traffic about the road noise.
Pam's asking about the road noise. We think that we can, our amps go to 11. We'll just, road noise, something I think we all experience outside is that, the planes taking off from the airport can be loud. As soon as Cal Fire starts those jets up, it is crazy loud. But we just want to. I think that the road noise is manageable. The nice thing is that we're not at a stoplight, so there are certainly loud cars and motorcycle people that they.
I see you're dead center. Where's my car?
Yeah, I made sure. All of these vehicles look too nice to be our parking lot, so had them put a nice thing in there.
First floor are handy. Yeah.
So I bet we got some questions in the chat room. Let me see. Am I in the right one? Not. Town hall. Okay, it's just me, Andy, and Sam. So I'm going to vote for both of you. Yeah. Who's your favorite person in this chat room? So you didn't even put me in there. I'm in there. I'm right up front. So we had a question about where the statue of Jesus went. I don't know. I don't know. So the people who've been here longer than me, do you know when the statue of Jesus left?
I don't know exactly when it left. I was told that it went back to the owners who originally put it there.
That is true. The people that donated for the statue, it went back to that family, and it's sitting in a backyard in Chico today.
We don't have a chance to kind of bring it back.
Well, see, the problem is that we're going to put a stage there, and Jesus will be talked about a lot there, but we'd be tripping over him if he was there.
He's not playing an instrument. So he's out.
So, and yes, ma'am.
Where's the handicap parking going to be?
The handicap parking. Glenn's parking spot. That's what you're asking about, right? Let me see. These are they'll be up front.
Yeah, right there.
The,
So we don't get wet.
yeah, they'll be up front for when we have services here. They'll be all up front and all available. So,
How many are we gonna have?
Glenn wants to know how many how many handicap spots we're going to have. The question is, how few can we talk the city into allowing us to have? Therefore,
Few?
how few? Yeah, because I want all of you people to come early to fight over the spots.
The monorail system from the back lot has not been included in this model where that will shuttle people to the front.
There will be enough handicap parking, I promise. But I'm sure they'll all be up front. So that's the way handicap parking works. So, but we're going to be told how many spots we're supposed to have, I'm sure, by the time we get there, right?
Code's gonna tell you 6.
Code says 6. Yeah, we have 3, I think. We have 2?
Never mind.
We're going to lose that many good parking spots? All right. So, no, we'll figure out how all of that works, but we're not going to forget that part. So a lot of this stuff we don't really know how it's all going to lay out or how it's going to work, but we're still working at it. So, anybody have any other questions? Yes, ma'am. So, Tanya Marie wants to know the cost. Now, Mike tells me that from this drawing that if we wrote the check for the whole thing, it is, most of you are sitting down, $475,000.
That's not bad. I thought it was gonna be more.
Well, the good news is that we can do it in stages, and the good news is that you can come out and run the DJ equipment while the rest of us pound rocks and do this stuff.
Just something to drink.
Yeah, with our labor, that's going to be a big deal. With the fact that what's that?
In-house labor?
In-house.
Awesome like that.
Yeah, I can break all kinds of things. So dig holes.
Vacation over here.
What's that?
Good at that.
Oh, together we're unstoppable.
Yeah.
So I
It's like Minecraft.
yeah. I do want to commission this in Minecraft. Somebody needs to build it. Between people we know that do this professionally, and whether it's laying concrete or putting in glass garage doors, or a lot of that stuff is going to come at a much reduced price than, but it's none of it is going to be inexpensive if we want to do it correctly and we want it to stand the test of time. So,
How thick is the glass gonna be?
Glenn wants to know how big the glass is going to be. Have no idea.
Just skate racks, that's all.
Skate racks
Yeah, little kids.
on the glass.
And rocks. No, just rocks.
Oh, we've got 30-something windows in this place. It is definitely the same. They're all windows.
It's like a
These are it's windows. Actually, we've got just up the side. We've got tons of windows in this place. So it's like, I had somebody say, if you build this, then you'll have homeless people sleeping there. Said, you think they're going to come from out back and sleep up front? Is that what you mean? I'm like, we got a good question here? Or is it one that you have?
I wanted to show you a link.
All right. Well, we leave everything outside. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but I drink a whole lot of coffee down at the coffee ranch. And something that they do, they've got couches and they've got patio tables, you know, the iron-looking ones, steel things. And what they do is they chain up the chairs and the tables all together in a group of 4 chairs and a table, and then they just take in the cushions from the other stuff. And I'm going to go talk to them, find out how that is working for them, because I mean I would think I might go try to steal something from there. Because that sounds pretty easy, but the fact that they're on East First Avenue, they've got traffic like we have traffic. I can't imagine that they'd be any different here, but we'll find out. Glenn, I think
The table's gonna be like the ones in back, or are you giving our own ones for?
Glenn's asking about the tables. I would like to tell you that there will be tables.
I mean, the people under the.
This is a model of things that are possible. So we didn't order those tables. I haven't a clue. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask Mike when we get there, because this is what Mike does. So, and he's really good at it. He actually has a really good reputation all over Chico, for this kind of stuff. So I don't know if you knew that. People actually like what you do. So, yeah. I will. I promise. So, yeah. Any other questions, Dick?
Based on this diagram that you have here, how much larger would the circle planter have to be to become a stage? What are you thinking along those lines?
Dick is asking about how much bigger the planter would have to be. I think what we're thinking is that we're going to probably just take a row off the top of that and leave it right there. We're just going to use that same footprint until somebody tells me different.
And it would be that same size then?
Yes. So, and then everything's...
Thinking how you're going to squeeze that jazz band onto that small circle.
Yeah, we're only getting small jazz people. So only freshmen, yeah. Mike? Yeah, we can try. One of the cool. I totally know how to do this. So the idea right here is that that wall there is also seats that are permanent, and that at least it is the first line of defense for all of the kids that are running around. At least you know where they're at until they get to the sides, and then you're done. But the being able to
That'll be equal with the, how much equal with the chairs? Height, or?
yeah. Star, let me look at this. Supervision for the family area, Lisa's asking. And I think Like during church, Lisa? Maybe you can help me with that one. I think during the week, just expect some parents to show up if they're going to send their kids over. Fenced off, yeah. It's an important part. Let me see if I can spin it over there. You'd think so. This drives a lot easier on the iPad. I lost. I was like, no, we could just do this on a... Well, I got a mouse, but it's not the same... I'm not getting the same... Is there a... what? I don't know. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, okay. But I'm going to give up. There we go. Ah! Yeah, fence. Ah! So much. Thank you, yeah. Anyway. All right, let's see. During the week, Lisa, Keith is going to be in one of these food trucks, and it faces a part of the... So Keith's going to have to be the guy. He gets signed up for whatever we tell him if he doesn't come to the meetings. So, all in favor? All right. There you go. Star, you had a question.
So, do I understand that there's going to be a parking lot and then there's going to be a whole bunch of chairs that go around like that for people to sit at, and then there's something behind that where live band is going to be there?
Well,
Come inside here,
you can come inside. You can sit outside.
but the band will be out there.
Probably not on Sundays, but maybe. I don't know, it gives us options.
In good weather.
Yeah. So, but we have not started planning what the services look like when we get there. Okay. So, I don't know how long that's going to be. This is the inside of the food truck. Man, okay. Now this is... There we go. Oh, right into another car. See? You can tell Ruben's not been here. It's got a lot of fancy cars up front, so... But,
Can you talk a little bit, Ron, about maybe putting heaters up inside of the...
yeah. Misters and, yeah, that is the idea. Yeah, heaters underneath so that will extend the season that people want to be outside. We're not going to make anybody be outside in the middle of a hurricane. But it's options, right? That's what we're looking for our space, but also having space available for other people as well. I'd love to, all of the independent music teachers in Chico, I'd love to get a hold of all of them and say, you should be doing your recitals right here, and having space for that kind of thing. And so, yeah. Anything else?
I like the VW.
Yeah. I'm dead center. So, and I made sure it was parked off axis, just
took up two parking spaces.
I did, yeah. Yeah.
That's why my car's not there, because you took up two parking spaces.
You said we would probably do this in stages. What would be the first stage, do you think?
Have no clue. How's that? But I'm thinking in general. I mean, in my head, we're talking about the patio and whatever the covering ends up being. So so be able to do that, and then in order to get the trucks, we need to also get the electricity out where it needs to go for folks. Yes, ma'am.
What is the estimated start time?
We're starting right now. Yeah.
We didn't tell you that part.
I believe a couple of weeks ago, I told you that when we were talking about Malachi, and he was saying, if you're giving sacrifices that are no sacrifice at all, it doesn't bring God any honor. And I said, I'm not fundraising. I'll tell you when I'm fundraising. I'm fundraising. So we're gonna have to find some cash sitting around somewhere, like in all of your pockets, and then go to businesses.
Yeah, for money.
This is gonna come from us.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, businesses donating to, the Butte Humane Society, I think is a great idea. I don't think it's this isn't the kind of project I think that you go talk to business owners about unless they go to church here. Yeah.
So we need to get them to our church first, and then ask them for money.
Yeah. Would you do that? Okay. That'll work. So.
So is the outside pretty much like full access to individuals? Like I'm thinking, like I'm looking at this playground, right? And if
Yeah.
this does come, not if, when it does.
When? Yeah.
It's access, full access then?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. I mean, I don't know how all of this. I don't know. My thought. There's a lot of this that we're not going to know until we get there, but I think that is open for families all week long, and whether you order at the truck or not. And we've got 23 new families moving in right next door, and yeah, Glenn's only worried about parking spots, so he's afraid there won't be any parking here.
Get you an orange cone.
They're gonna walk.
Okay.
Have you seen the fuel prices?
Yeah.
I didn't actually put my name on it or anything, so that's a plus.
Well, there you go. All right. Let's see. Signage and promotion. So the sign we have out front with our logo that's served us so well since we put in a new sign about 11 years ago. I went on Fiverr.com and paid somebody about $35 for that. So we're gonna do something better. I met with the guy in town that has a great reputation, and I've seen his work. So trying to encompass who we are as a community, and help us with some logoing and come up with stuff you don't care about but you'll appreciate eventually, like a style book and some other things, so that when we use fonts, we're using them on purpose, all the same stuff. So yeah, Andy and I care deeply about that part. Sam doesn't care at all, but yeah, when we have our color palette, that's the color palette we'll always use instead of something that looks generally orangish and generally something kind of bluish. If it reminds you of Mets colors, then we did okay. So we're going to try to do something very standard. So, anything else? Which is why it's not up for a vote. Yeah. I quit right now. Yeah. So, good deal. Thank you for coming. I'm available. I can drive better on my iPad. So, if you want to see different things, we're going to continue to work on this. We've got a small breakout team that's working on all of this. So we're going to be continuing to come up with better designs, and then we need to fundraise. I figure the first round is probably, maybe 125,000, and yeah, I think it should be really an amazing tool for the kingdom of God. So I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, I'm gonna let all of you folks hang around if you want to talk, and if you're Darlene, you have family showing up at your house. So
45 minutes above me. What did you tell me?
I was done. Glenn still had questions.
Don't blame it on me. I don't like buses. Stop throwing me under it.
All right, thanks. You bet.